let me just start recording. Okay, well, yeah, it looks like it's it's well on its way, and it's pretty much done. I don't really have any more comments. But were there anything else that you wanted to address in the scene?
No, I'm pretty happy with it too.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
I'm actually very, very, very happy with it.
yeah, yeah. No, it's looking really good. It's got some really nice detail that you've etched out, in the on the face and on the hair with the rim lights, and the eye-dings definitely are working really well. And the figure is uh, really nicely etched against the background. And you've got some nice atmosphere to sort of you know pop him out from the background there. Um, yeah, I don't really have any more comments. So I, I'm guessing you're pretty much done, yeah?
All right. That sounds good. That's a good ending to the week. I'll take
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Looks great. All right. Um, yep, that's it. So, yep, good work. Looks great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ingrid, how are you? I see
I'm good.
I've got your lighting scene open. And can you see it?
Yeah, I
Just
can
double
see it.
checking. Okay, sometimes I'm paranoid that I'm talking to something and that you can't actually see it. Okay, so it's is this your first pass?
No, this is, I think, my third.
Your third pass, right? Let me just quickly scan through. I see. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, this was the first, and then the next one's the second. Yeah.
Yep. And then
Um, the
this
main
is
thing that Shane was talking about was getting like those graphic shapes from the lights.
yes.
So from like the floodlight and then the door light, and then getting like more fill in the back to match the reference.
Oh yeah. It's definitely looking like it's matching the reference a lot better than your previous versions, especially the this background fill that you've got going. It's really nice, and it definitely feels like you've captured the essence of the reference in terms of the overall sort of atmospheric ambient fill. So I'm really loving that. That's looking great, and obviously you've got some nice graphic definition of the way the light's spilling out from their source. So that's working really nice too. Um, see, let me just do a screen cap of previous version. Just save it. Okay, just grab that up. Let's see, where are we? Two.
I think this might be the latest version.
Oh, sorry. All right, here we go. Yep. So this latest iteration is all about
Mhm.
filling in the environments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of like the environment, I think it's you're well on your way to getting it um, matching the reference. Let's take a look at your character lighting. And so you've left it quite similar to the last version in terms of like your characters, yeah?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, feels like, you know, um, you've got some nice, you've got some nice, rim lights, sort of pencil rim lights on the characters. And this character here, and again here. Um, I'm wondering whether you can start to begin to maybe bring some of that cool um, ambient feel from the environment into the characters, like you know, have it kind of wash over them a
Okay.
little bit. I see there's a little bit, there's a little bit here, but maybe you could um, maybe go a little bit more aggressively on, getting that. Um, maybe you've got some bounce here off the ground and here. I'm thinking maybe like a cool kind of big soft area light um, where the wall is kind of coming out and washing over these characters here. Um, so I feel like his face is, yeah, it could do with a little bit more kind of blue wash over it. I'm wondering too whether there's an opportunity to get some bounce lights. Um, let's see. Maybe some bounce light off of here, just to get a little bit more light on his his legs at this point, because it feels like it's maybe a little bit too contrasty. Not that much, but something to kind of lift the levels here on his legs and shoes a little bit. Yeah, let's try that first and see what we get. But
Okay.
it's looking really nice, Ingrid. I'm
Okay.
really
Thank
I'm
you.
really I'm really loving it. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Um, so do we have anyone else? So it's just Andre and Ingrid. Okay, cool. Okay, so maybe I'll go on to.
Fun.
Yes.
I have another scene that I posted, the classroom one.
Ah, right.
Yes.
Okay, let me look for that. Sorry, must have missed it.
It's okay.
Is that just posted or
Yeah, it's the third row on the left.
third row?
I think it's because it doesn't have a preview, but it's
Oh,
not.
yes, yes, I see it. I see
Yeah.
it. Yep, got you. Good.
And with a mind that works like mine on such a higher level, I'd become overly bored with such a simplistic curriculum you have going here.
Cool. Just do a screen grab real quick. Alrighty. Yep,
Yeah.
that's
So I brought back a bit of the warmth on the background.
nice.
I
Yep,
took the atmosphere down a little bit.
yep.
I made him slightly cooler,
Yes, I saw that.
and
Nice.
also made his skin also cooler. And I thought that his eyes were like the white of his eyes were a little too yellow, so I also made them a little bit whiter.
Yep. Yeah, so your, I guess the theme of this clip is that here's this guy who thinks he's kind of a little bit too good for this school. And so
Yeah.
the idea is that through the use of color, you're kind of separating him from his environment and kind of making him apart or distinct from this kind of warm environment that's this kind of warm, inclusive environment. Here's this guy who's a little bit arrogant and a little bit too
Hmm.
cool for school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's working really well. Yeah, the cooler the cooler kind of key on his coming from his screen onto his screen left. It's working really well. And yeah, backing off on the Atmos slightly and warming it up really does um, make him pop more, like kind of exaggerates this kind of um, separation from him and his environment. So it's yeah, that's working really nice. Yep, and I like the change to his skin color too. Definitely cooler. All right. Um, was there anything else that you wanted me to comment on? I think it's pretty much done. I mean, it was already well on its way when I saw it. So, was there anything
No,
else?
I mean I'm very happy with this one too.
Mm,
So if you have nothing else to say, um,
yeah,
I'll take the two. I'll take the two approvals in a one day for the first time in my life. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think this is final. I think you're good.
awesome.
Well done. Thank you, Andre.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice work. Okay, so seeing Ingrid, seeing Andre. So maybe we might go into the the rest of the students. So we've got Miguel here. Let me just make Okay. So Miguel, this update is looking really sweet. I'm really liking where it's headed. Let me just play the clip. See, you've got the got that pencil rim at the beginning. Just kind of separate him from the building behind. That's working really well, and you can really see his teeth now, which is nice. I guess my only comment is, I guess at the end, perhaps we could do a little bit extra on some details on his face, particularly his teeth. And so I see that you've got some really nice light, this very nice red light that's coming from behind him. And you've got some sort of soft feel there to illuminate the screen right side of his face. And that's working really well. I'm wondering at the end there whether we could get some of these qualities, these qualities here into the end and carry them through to the end. I know that his position is a lot lower in the scene, so that it's kind of harder to get the light onto his face. But I'm wondering whether you could maybe cheat a light below to somehow get some detail in his teeth there. And this fill level actually isn't bad at all. It's kind of nice to have that contrast, but I'm wondering whether if you're able to get a light to kind of etch out a little bit more detail, on his horns, and maybe a little bit more here. It could mean, maybe another cheat light that is above here to get that detail there, to get that sort of edge detail. So I'm really, that's really nice. I'm really loving. That's looking really, really nice. So if you could somehow place some lights strategically at the end there to get that quality right through to the end, I think you're in a good place. Alrighty. Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you. Sorry I was late though.
Oh, you're there. You're here. Sorry, I thought you
No, I got in just now.
just
So I was
now.
able to see. Yeah, I was able to, well, like about a minute or two before. So I was able to hear some of the stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah. So I might just reiterate. So I was just saying that I'm really loving this kind of middle section of the shot and the way the screen right part of it has been lit. So I think it's really successful. You've got the fill level here is really nice, and I'm really loving this red light coming from behind him. It's kind of lighting his underbelly like that. I'm wondering whether you could maybe exaggerate it more. And I'm wondering whether these kind of nice details that you're able to get through um, in this middle part of the shot, whether you could try and emulate that or bring it through to the end frame. And I suggested maybe putting in some cheat lights strategically, maybe like underneath him here, to get you there, and to get you the that kind of quality at the end there. And this is fill levels. Actually, I don't have a problem with it, but I'm wondering whether you could, try and etch out some details in his teeth and his horns, and perhaps maybe some of his underbelly there with that reddish light.
Okay, I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, just the fill level is fine. Just kind of make the teeth and the bone in the back of him pop out more. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So just throw in some cheat lights that are kind of just really, and maybe they have some barn doors or something. But they just kind of throw light on a specific area. Towards the end there.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, you go. But I mean, it is looking pretty good to me at the end. It just a little bit more of some accent lighting, some edge lighting there. Could be really nice.
Would it be better with area light or more of a spotlight?
Yeah, you could try a spot, or you could just make an area that's like super small, like a small one.
To make it kind of crisp. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But then just maybe keep the exposure, quite low, quite subtle. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. You could also definitely try spot as well. Yeah. But yeah, it's looking really nice, man. Loving it.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. All right, on to I'm probably not saying your name properly, but who that name is? I'm assuming I'm just gonna try for Lammies. But so I had a look at your scene, and I guess your latest reference frame, and I sort of flopped it just so it's kind of in the same angle as your scene, and I can see that you're doing a sort of a Christmassy sort of night scene with some street lamps. I guess my first comment is that um, it does feel really cool, um, and the light coming from the street lamps is quite cool versus your reference. And I'm thinking back in those days, the lights would be, quite amber and quite warm. And so that was my first comment: is that the overall background feels, or the overall lighting onto the environment feels a little bit cool. So perhaps maybe think about maybe warming it up a little bit. So something like that. And then the lights can go a lot warmer. And I noticed that the um, the shadow cast onto the car is very crisp. and I'm not sure whether it's coming from the lamp or another light source directly above, but it feels, for me, it feels too crisp. Almost feels like it's being lit by the sun. This is like a sun that's lighting the car at midday, whereas I think, if I'm assuming correctly, this is more of a night scene. So I would maybe address the sharpness of the shadow and maybe soften it up. Another thing I noticed is that the car is quite dark, given given that the uh, you know the light hitting the buildings it feels like it's quite bright, and by the time you get to the car, it feels like it's the light's kind of ignoring the car almost. I'm not sure what your setup is, whether you set up any sort of light linking, but it does feel like you want to make the car more integrated into the environment, into the background there. So that's the other.
I think that the scene. I think this car has a lot of metalness on it, so it
Right.
might be that it's like it's just there's nothing to reflect it, so it ends up being too dark. I remember I struggled with that on that scene also.
I see. Right. So maybe some shader work there to kind of um, you know bring down the metalness um, in the shaders. Um, but yeah, it does feel like it needs some kind of work to integrate it with the environment there. And overall, it feels maybe you could go, you know, um, you could expose down overall on the environment. Because it is a night scene, and you want to feel those lamp lights being the main source of lighting. Um, so yeah, maybe expose down, and just look at the reference, and maybe think about, the light's very neutral. It's very white. So I'm wondering whether you could play with getting that cool ambient light in the background there. And this is super rough, but so just know what I'm doing that much. But I guess the idea is to maybe just to get this kind of color contrast between the environment, which in the reference feels very blue, and then perhaps think about getting that sort of warmth in your reference, getting that kind of quality into your light. So yeah, so yes, kind of like a warmish kind of light there, illuminating the street. Alrighty, thanks for that. Okay, Holly, this is your update. Thanks for updating the scene. I can see that you've got some more key light onto the character's face, and you've got some worked on some eyedings. That's looking pretty cool. The eyedings could possibly go a bit smaller because I feel like maybe they're a little bit big. And one thing that I noticed, just looking at it now, is that the light coming from this floor lamp, this green light, it does feel too hot. Like it feels like the intensity has not fallen off, and it actually feels like the light hitting this wall here is not as intense as the light hitting his face. So I'm wondering whether you could maybe bring this light up, you know, the light that's hitting the wall up slightly so it's a little bit brighter, and then bring down the exposure and the intensity of this rim. I mean, it's looking kind of cool, but I'm wondering whether it is possibly too bright. But overall, that sort of softer key on his coming from screen right is definitely working better. Yeah, so maybe reduce the intensity of the green light coming from screen left that's hitting the character. Maybe bring up the wall wash, the green on that's washing on the wall, and just reducing how big the eyetings are. But overall, looking pretty cool. Thanks for that. And then we've got Rewya. I hope that's the correct pronunciation. And I see you've got an update for your scene, and I can see that you're separating the the foreground character from the backgrounds, and I feel like perhaps you want to maybe. I did like a kind of a mix between your previous version. It feels like what I was thinking you could do is maybe go something like that, where you know we don't completely separate the foreground and have it outside of the lights, but we include some of those rays back in, not perhaps not all of it, maybe like I'd go maybe like 30, maybe a third, and just so you have enough separation between this foreground character and the background there. But yeah, it's still looking really great. I'm wondering what informed. Not sure whether I told you to work on this aspect of the mushroom, but I really like how it was previously. It feels like a more natural, illumination of the underside of the mushroom versus. I'm not sure what the intent was here, um, but I do prefer this previous version of the way the mushroom is lit. I guess my comments, and forgive me if I wasn't clear, was mainly to do with wanting to separate the girl from the background a little bit by removing some of the atmosphere. So, yeah, so I'm thinking something like that would work. This area to screen right in the foreground. You could maybe, this area here is closer to brush. Yeah, this area here is closer to the girl. They're probably on the same focal plane. But these areas here are further back. So you could, I'm wondering whether you could, add more atmosphere in this area here. And, the black levels of the background at this point can kind of match the girl. But I think the black levels here, it's a little bit too dark. So maybe bring in some of this light to these areas in the back here. Does that make sense? Yeah, even from your previous version here, I feel like you could definitely, yeah, add some of that atmo back, and then this can go a bit darker like that. I'm exaggerating here. This is way too much. But the idea is that we're giving we're giving the scene this kind of depth cue, so that the foreground elements here don't get wrapped in sort of that sort of warm ambient light like the rest of the scene. Does that make sense? It's, yeah, looking good. Thank you. And then let's see, Christian. Hi, Christian. Thanks for submitting your work. You can see that you've got reference from, I think this is The Hobbit. It's the third. I think it's the third Hobbit. I'm not sure. I actually worked on the second one. Anyway, so you've got some nice lighting here. You've got some nice edge detail on this guy, I forgot what his name was, Azog. You've got some nice, cool light from the environment. I'm wondering whether, because the light is coming from the sky, or it's kind of alluding that the light's coming from the sky, that maybe you could use like a broader area light, so that the edge isn't as sharp and defined, that it could go maybe a little bit softer. Obviously you're doing a riff on this, so you don't have to go completely soft like in the reference, but maybe you could try softening it up on that cool light there. Overall, the fill levels and the core feel really nice. That's feeling really nice. I'm really digging that. And the firelight, obviously, because it's a local light, it can be, you've got justification for these very sharp, contrasty rims. So that's looking really nice. Let's check out your middle frame. Yeah, try that for now, and let's see what we get. But definitely looking really nice. I would maybe at this end frame where it turns back, think about possibly lining up his face a little bit on this fill side here. You could try like a like a special light that just focuses on his face to get a little bit more detail there in his eye and his cheek. Okay, thank you. And I think that's it. Does anyone else have anything else to show? Or let's see, Miguel, Christian, Ingrid. Is that clear, Christian? I didn't realize you were here.
No, yeah, sorry, I just came. I got the time zones mixed up. So that's why I came so late. No, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's always nice to get good critique.
No worries. Yeah, it's looking really good. Definitely. Yeah, maybe get a special light in there to
Yeah,
get some more detail, particularly in his eyes, because we always want to get a reading on the eyes.
Yeah, I actually tried to do a similar thing with the fire. There's like a super subtle light on his eyes with the fire, but maybe I made it too subtle because I also didn't. It was kind of weird that the light was wrapping that far around.
Right.
I guess I didn't even think about doing it for the light that's like representing the moon, which makes total sense.
Yeah, give it a go. I mean, and you could cheat it and make it like, really like a small kind of, like a small area light, or
Yeah.
like a super that just hits him across the face there. But the lighting from screen left, the fire lighting's working really well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is it flickering? Is it like, have you got it kind of flickering, or is it just?
Yeah, I did the flickering in comp later.
I see. Nice. Cool. But it's looking, it's looking really good. It's definitely working throughout the shot.
Thank you.
Nice. Alrighty, I think that's pretty much everyone, unless I missed anyone. Andre, Ingrid, Christian, Holly, Namis, Miguel, and Rewya. Yep, I think that's it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in this week. Some more great work. It's always good to see great work. So I know a lot of you guys have put in a lot of work, so I appreciate that. Alrighty.
Thank you.
So thank you. So I guess I'll be on again next Saturday, and during the week I'll be giving comments as well. Alrighty. But yeah, live critique again, same time next week.
Thank you.
All right, thanks guys. Take
All right.
care.
Thank you.